I want us to get better about appreciating the process. I want us to get better about appreciating the steps that need to be taken on your way to your final destination, to your goal, to your North Star, whatever it is that we want to call that. Let's be appreciative of the journey, okay? I feel like so many of us get frustrated because we have this goal, we have this vision in mind, and there's no switch. There's no way for us to just make it happen overnight. And we hear all of these, success stories on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter or wherever else we're finding this information. We're hearing all of these, instant success stories, and we're looking at ourselves like we are inadequate, right? And I want us to stop doing that, first of all, okay? Divine order does not just apply in the spiritual realm. This is something that we need to put into every area of our lives. There are certain things that we have to do before we can get to the end, and those things need to be honored, just like the actual end, right? We need to be excited about the steps, about the process, just as much as we are when we get the results that we're looking for. I have a friend, a really close, dear friend to me, and I hope she doesn't take offense that I share this story, but she wanted to put together I forgot, it's some type of shelf or something that she wanted to put together, right? And she called me and she's like, girl, this thing got, 1,017 different pieces. She's like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And so because it looked so daunting, that thing, whatever, coffee table, I don't know, it was something like an end table or something like that. It sat in her floor for like 3 weeks, and she kept walking past it and she's looking at it like, that is just, it's way too complicated. It looked very complicated to her. And so we were talking on the phone recently, and she decided to go ahead and try it. And so she picks up the instructions, and she's looking through the instructions, and she goes, oh man, they got me doing too much. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? Tell me about it. And she goes, well, like on step 10, it's saying something about this, that, and the other, and I need this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, step 10? How did we get to step 10? Step 10 is definitely going to look confusing if you haven't gone through steps 1 through 9 first. Looking at step 10 or looking at like the last page is going to make you feel like you're behind, right? Because you didn't do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So what I'm saying is, a lot of us have goals to overhaul our finances. And, every time you look at your bank account, you don't have $1 million in there and you feel like a failure. That makes no sense, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? You don't expect for your finances to just turn around overnight, do you? A lot of us are looking to get, our dream jobs, and we're going from one field, from the healthcare field, we're trying to get into tech, and you're frustrated because you can't get a role at Google. There are things that need to be done along the way before you can actually get to the end result that you're looking for. So what I'm saying is, be okay with going through steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Be okay with doing things in order, because what happens, and I've done this, I'm guilty of this, where I've tried to put together, like even this thing behind me or whatever, put that together, and I didn't read the instructions, and I'm just kind of going in, just trying to put together whatever, whatever I think, then I'm using the wrong screws, or I'm using the wrong things, and I end up having to take it apart and redo it following the actual steps. That is the way that everything works. We are always going to have to do things in divine order. This is a universal law. Okay? So I'm saying this to say, I want us to not feel so frustrated when we're looking at the whole thing, right? When we're looking at all of these pieces, it just you can't see how you're going to be able to put it together. The reason you can't see how you're going to be able to put it together is because you haven't taken the time to break down the steps. So I want us to get comfortable with the process and not just, expect outcomes. Your friends or family or whoever it is that, appear to be thriving, they took steps, trust me. They took the steps that needed to be taken a long time ago. And just because you're frustrated, or you're ready to make moves, or you're tired of the life that you created for yourself, doesn't mean you get to skip the steps. I hope that makes sense.